So what is going on, guys? I'm Black Ops Amazing. Welcome back to another video on the channel. Welcome back to another Zombies Q&A, the series where I take your questions from the comment section below to do with the zombie storyline, Easter eggs, and I answer them. So as always, if you're going to enjoy today's video, by the end, a like rating is always appreciated. Make sure you are subscribed to stay up to date with the latest videos. But let's get into this. Here we go, and enjoy. So the first question of today says, why are there floating pyramids on Moon? Now, if you don't know what he's talking about, if we take a look at Moon's loading screen, and I say Moon's because there are two of them, we have the original, which is this one up on screen now, and then a new one we got later on, which I believe was a part of Zombies Chronicles 2 or the Zombies comics. I can't remember off the top of my head, but you will notice there are slight changes between the both. On the original one, there is a giant shadow of Samantha on the Moon holding her teddy bear. The astronauts are walking away from us, and we can see the excavators. Also on the left on the newspaper part of the page is torn off, and there are multiple smaller details. And then if we compare that to the new Moon loading screen, Samantha's shadow is no longer forecast on the Moon. The astronauts are now walking towards us, and we don't see the excavator. Instead, we see Samantha, along with a bunch of other smaller changes on the newspaper on the left. But one thing you will notice that does stay the same on both of these loading screens is, in the background, there is a pyramid floating in space. This can be seen from the Moon. Now, of course, if you play the map itself, you can't see these, but on the loading screen, there is a pyramid just floating. We can also see here there is a pyramid on the Moon itself. So what's going on? Why is this here? Now, it's very obvious that neither this one stationed on the Moon or the one floating in space aren't the MPD pyramid that we know of. You can just tell that straight away by the shape. So these are some other pyramids that we don't actually see in the game, but for some reason are visible on the loading screen. And well, the very first clue we get as to what these could be is if we look right here where the page is torn, we get to see a portion of the previous map to Moon, which was Shangri-La. And on this one, we see Shangri-La pyramids being ripped up out of the ground by this tornado. And then we go back to the Moon loaded screen, and we have very similar looking pyramids, not only on the Moon, but in space. So just putting two and two together, could it be that these pyramids we see in the Shangri-La loading screen getting ripped up by this tornado, could they have been sucked up by it and sent into space? Well, the storyline of Shangri-La may help us to solve this. It's very simple, so we can quickly go through it. And it revolves around two British explorers who we know are called Brock and Gary, who became trapped in a cycle in Shangri-La.
The heat and humidity is just excruciating. According to the locals, the temple should be in this mountain range just up this river. Gary, do you hear that? A waterfall. We must be close. Hand me the binoculars. There is a structure up ahead. If this is truly a gateway to Argatha, my work will finally be validated.
Brock, I don't think this place is abandoned.
Don't be silly. This place has to be thousands of years old. I have found some unfinished carvings around the structures I can't make out. They do not look like... Wait, what is this?
What the hell was that? Why is the sky dark?
It's an eclipse. We must have...
Run! What are those things?
Zombies. We have to find another way.
Zombies? What are you talking about?
The writings must have been right. No! Don't touch that! Damn! Take a look around and try to find a way out.
I got nothing.
We will have to conserve our supplies. Take your shoes off and hand me your socks. I've been trapped in the temple structure for days. Gary is dead, and I don't see a way out of here. I can still hear the zombies outside. I fear this is my last recording, as the battery is about to die, and I will soon follow. One thing I can be certain of is that Glove...
Now, because of the fractures on our previous Zombies timeline, there are actually two different alternate endings as to what happened to Brock and Gary in Shangri-La. In one ending, the original, as I mentioned, they became trapped in an infinite cycle in Shangri-La, doomed to repeat the same events over and over again. They could never escape. The Canorium tells us April the 25th, 1956. Explorers Brock and Gary discover Shangri-La. During an eclipse, they're unwittingly trapped in a time loop. Sally, sent back in time from 2011, is trapped in the same loop. Ultimus arrives in Shangri-La. With the help of Brock and Gary, they acquire the Focusing Stone. So that was a part of the original timeline. However, as a part of the fractured timeline, Brock and Gary both die. The Chrononium tells us again on April the 25th, 1956, this time while travelling to Shangri-La, Brock and Gary's plane crashes into the mountains as a result of a freak astroperic event, another side effect of the temporal rifts created by Primus whilst travelling to Gorokarovi. So Brock and Gary die in this fractured universe, and could it be what we see in the Shangri-La loading screen? Is this the freak astroperic event we see mentioned in the Chronorium by the temporal rifts that were created by Primus whilst travelling to Gorokarovi? Not only did this atmospheric event kill Brock and Gary, but it also sent the pyramids from Shangri-La into Moon. Of course, that last part's just a theory, but if that isn't the case, then where else do these pyramids come from? It's the only explanation I can see possible. And just to confirm that Brock and Gary did die during this event, in case there's anyone saying, well, maybe they survived, there is a cipher we can find in Zetsubou no Shima that says this: Urgent telegram. We have just received word that a private plane carrying the expedition crew encountered a freak atmospheric event which caused it to crash, killing all on board, including the famous explorers Brock and Gary. This comes weeks after their announcement about the location of Shangri-La. So there we go. Let me know what you guys think about that one in the comment section below. And the final question says, why don't the characters you play as turn to zombies? Well, we know from what we've learned, from what we've been told, that it's Ethereum that turns you into the undead. Our characters in Cold War, our strike team, are clearly exposed to that quite a lot. We travel to the Dark Ether in D Machine, for example. There are Ethereum crystals absolutely everywhere. So if we know it's Ethereum that transforms you into the undead, then why aren't our strike team transformed? And well, there are 2 videos, both from Grey, where she explains why this could be.
What I'm still really keen to understand is the transformative properties of Ethereum. We saw what happened to those poor sods at End Station. Some of the infected remain mostly humanoid, while others resemble more powerful, evolved creatures. What made their transformations different? Take that infected Omega soldier, the one who helped us with the particle accelerator. Why did he turn into that? That's one of the things I'd like to answer. Maybe not here, maybe not today, but it's on the list. It's tricky to nail down. Ethereum. From our tests at the data stations, the only pattern we've established is that there is no pattern. The effects of Ethereum exposure vary greatly between subjects. Yes, many suffer from advanced necrosis infections, the undead, but there are others whose side effects appear strictly cerebral. Hallucinations, paranoia, amnesia. Then there's Maxis. Not sure what to make of her. No necrosis. Only side effect appears to be the amnesia, but there's more going on there. Her Ethereum concentration? Off the scale. Highest I've seen. And normally a subject with a fraction of that exposure would be fully transformed, but she seems unaffected. So far.
So we are told that the transformative properties of Ethereum don't really seem to follow any pattern. It affects some people more than others, and then it doesn't affect other people at all. So Samantha, for example, she was trapped in the Dark Ether in Firebase C. When she returned, she looks exactly how she did when she went in, besides from her purple eyes. We know she also had powers, but she didn't turn into a zombie or a creature of the Dark Ether like a mimic. And then we have other people who have been to the Dark Ether for just a day, the same amount of time as Samantha, and they did transform into something else. So Ethereum affects everyone differently. There doesn't seem to be a particular pattern that it follows. But because, as I mentioned, our strike team have been exposed to it quite a lot, you would have thought at least one of the members would have changed. But no, they've come close to Ethereum crystals, they've been inside of the Dark Ether, but I guess, so far at least, they're just one of the lucky ones. But who knows, maybe in the future it will affect them. So guys, there we go, that is it. That is all I have for you for today's video. As always, hopefully you have enjoyed. If you have, drop a like rating, make sure you are subscribed to stay up to date with the latest videos on the channel, and I will see you all in the next one. Until then, goodbye.